Well, as you surmised, or pretty much you freaking guessed it, we're on part 6 of I Am Dead walkthrough. Not literally dead, but I Am Dead walkthrough. Such a kind of like an interesting title that they would go with. But it's straight to the point and very simplistic title. You would think this game would be darker than it should be, but nope. Nope, not at all. Alright, so now, let's go to the next memory. At the picnic blanket. Okay. I don't see them at the picnic blanket. Might be missing them. Ah! There they are! Is there? Yep, part of their face is covered. Alright, what's your memory with them?
Miles and I came to Shelmerston for the Sheller Cup final. Miles was the world champion for ages. Greg, the campsite manager, was a huge Sheller fan. Always gave us the best pitch on the campsite. Miles was up early every morning, training for the big race. Greg would always be lurking in the background, taking photos.
No, that's not creep factor at all.
It became rather annoying.
Oh.
How many photos did he need? Oh God, and one time he turned up at our barbecue and wouldn't leave. The man could not take a hint.
You don't seem to like Greg.
So, race day arrives, and Greg is there with his camera, of course, getting in everyone's way. So, Greg leans out into the track as the pack came past, Miles in the lead. And Miles goes crashing right into Greg. Total disaster. Miles goes down, and Quasi flies past him to win the race. Miles was absolutely gutted. He definitely would have won it.
Oh. Awkward.
Later that night, all us Shellers were on our way back from the pub, and we heard Greg outside his caravan, just sat by himself, crying. Miles, he was such a good sport, went over and spoke to him, invited him over to our camp for a drink. So then Greg came back and hung out with us, brought his camera and showed us all his Sheller race photos. You know, that guy was actually a pretty great photographer. By the end of the night, Miles had forgiven him. Miles was good like that.
Well, you didn't seem to like Greg that much. Well, we learned a lot about Greg, so people, I noticed that. Ogden was loved, and I have seen that. Pete was well loved. Val was she was well loved too, a little bit of mischievous, but people seemed to tolerate and like her. Ogden was just pretty much famous, and people liked him too. But Pete, yeah. For Greg, I was about to call him Peter, but for Greg, people just thought he was annoying, and they judged him constantly. But once they really got to know him, they really judged him, and then when they got to know him, they really liked him. It's kind of interesting. Well, yeah, like they said, don't judge a book by their cover.
Shellers? I've never understood the appeal of that. Seems bloomin' uncomfortable to me. Poor old Greg. He was always rubbing people up the wrong way, but he meant well. And he really loved this place.
Alright, looks like at pitch 7, 8, and 9. So, I think I passed it earlier. Yep, there it is. Alright, so it's at pitch 8. And memory. Curtis Jackson.
My whole life I've dreamed of seeing a Jempson's sea owl. One day, I read the news that a guy on this little island called Shelmerson had discovered one. I had to see it.
Yep, because that was your life's purpose.
The only B&B on the island booked up really fast, so we decided to stay at the temporary campsite set up by the guy who discovered the sea owl, Greg Litherland. The atmosphere was amazing. There were twitchers from all over the world come to see it. Greg had given the owl a name, David Abrahams. A bit weird, but I guess he was the one who found it. And because it had no mate, it was lonely, and he'd made a model female owl out of concrete. That was quite impressive. I got to know Greg a bit during my stay. He really seemed to resent all the noise and fuss on the island. His island, as he thought of it. And the irony was that he was the one who got everyone excited about coming to Shelmerston. Greg told us he'd take us up in groups to the owl's nest site, but I snuck up early with my camera. It saw me and it flew off hooting and I didn't get a picture. I was gutted. I had to make do with a picture of the model. It wasn't the same.
Oh. Well, that sucks, bro.
Ah, I remember that. All those bird watchers suddenly arriving and nowhere for them to stay. I didn't think Greg had it in him to start a campsite, but he somehow pulled it together.
Yeah. Must I repeat the same thing I was saying? Don't judge a book by the freaking cover. Sometimes people will surprise you. You just really... And there's a reason why your like your parents and people, your teachers, and a lot of people say that don't judge a book by its cover, because when you have an assumption about a person, you assume that's what they're just naturally like. But when you really get to know them, then your entire perception of them completely changes. And then you kind of feel like a freaking jerk for assuming something about them when it's not really true, and you just didn't take the time to do that. What if that was your future husband or wife? What if that was going to be your new best friend? What if they were just a big impact in your life and they gave you such a impact or a perspective, then you're just like, okay, I will take that to heart. You know what I mean? Okay, so 25. Maybe it's a little further. Huh, that's funny. Oh wow, his old caravan. Interesting. Alright. Apparently I'm looking for Macy Wilkinson. I feel like the mirror should have kicked in by now. Okay, looks like we have to... They probably are here, but they are... We probably have to find the artifacts, which is not new. And back where we are again. Alright, time to find the mementos then. And hopefully we finish this pretty fast so we can move on to the next one, and yeah, and so on. Okay. Alright, so this is back in the main office again that we're currently at. And we have to click on the shelves. Alright, and as we're on the shelves, and we have to find the campsite rulebook. which is right freaking there.
What's this about dogs having to be on leads the whole time? Outrageous.
Yeah, it's quite a doggy experience. Oh, news!
I'm getting the scent of Grenkins again, Morris. I'll pop up to let you know when we're close to one.
My gosh, you are just freaking obsessed with these Breckens. What, are they giving you a high? A doggy high? Do you want a biscuit? Do you want a treat, Sparky? Who resist that? Anyway. Alright, we're at the beach party. And there's okay, drinks and barbecues apparently. And then there's a camera sitting there apparently. Ah, there it is. Huh, camera shots with the camera. That's kind of irony. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I wish we could use this. I am a very photogenic dog, you know.
I bet you are, you photogenic person. Dog, you. Kind of love that bit. I don't know why. Alright, now look for the life-size concrete owl at 7, 8, and 9. Which we did pass, so... I mean, it's really not hard to solve these puzzles, and I know what my complaint's gonna be. Okay, so... watch that news. Okay. Is it nearby? Ah, there it is! Okay, so we're looking for a concrete owl. Where is it? I think it's under there. Oh wow, there it is.
Oh, poor old David Abrahams.
Interesting. Alright, now we should be able to. So it looks like we're going all the way over there. That volcano is really, it looks like it's about to erupt. Okay, so the memory is here. Wait. Okay, there they are. Okay. So we have to go... Looks like we're going over here. So we're looking for a table. There it is. And on the table, we need to zoom in. Get set. Did I miss another memory? I feel like that's going to be important. Alright, so looks like we have to go to 16. So I guess we'll go over here. This is a very peaceful, tranquil experience. Peaceful and tranquil is the most similar word. This is such a tranquil experience just exploring this. And it should be. Oh, okay, so it was here. Yeah, it's kind of odd of, like, when I'm looking at the IGM walkthrough, and it's not actually... I don't know how to describe it. Wait. Oh. I think the mirror's here. Okay, there we go.
I love camping. We've come to Shelmerston every summer with the kids for years. Okay, our tent is a bit bright, but that means the kids can always see it. Greg seemed angry about everything this year. He told us our tent was outside of the regulation colours, and being around the kids seemed to really upset him. But they were only being kids, just running around playing. Greg was blowing that bloody whistle every 5 minutes.
Well, I guess he really loved that bloody whistle.
One day, Greg confiscated my little one's kite. He was terrifying. We still sometimes get nightmares about it. I had to do something.
Yeah, tell him to not mess with your kid's stuff. Or report it to authorities.
When I saw Greg put the whistle down, I pinched it and took out the P. You know, the thing that makes the noise.
That's very savvy of you.
I threw that P somewhere Greg would never find it. You should have seen his face when he blew his whistle and nothing happened.
Oh, okay, well, I guess not everyone liked Greg. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you heard that whistle all the time, blow the whistle. Sorry, I'm thinking of that song. I couldn't resist. My wife will get a kick out of that one. Blow the whistle. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Had to do that joke once. And that song.
I always wondered how Greg managed to get so good at hand whistling.
That was actually pretty good. I wonder if I'm good at hand whistling. I want to test that theory, but nah. Okay, so... Alright, apparently... Oh, hello! Something with rabbits. It's a weird looking rabbit. Where the rabbits poo? Yep, that is definitely poo. Alright, so apparently you're looking for a P. Interesting. Wow. This is unique. What are we looking for? Okay, so apparently it's what? Wow. A needle in a haystack, but full of poo. I don't know how to feel about that. Disgusted? Not nauseous, but still kind of disgusted. Weird, weird stuff. I'm looking for. Oh, that's disgusting. Again. Huh. Surprisingly not tired. You would think this game would make me fall asleep, but nope, guess not. Oh, the phone. Where is this? What am I looking for? Okay, I guess it is here. What the heck is this thing? What the heck is this thing? Full of rabbit poo. Okay. Is it? Oh, found it, finally. It was really finding a needle in the rat poo, in a literal sense. But in this case, it was a pea.
The smell of rabbit poo. It doesn't excite me the way it used to when I was alive.
What? I have to do a double take. Oh gosh. Well, I know where the other one is, so we can just get over there. Man, that's intriguing. What the heck? Oh, right, they do racing with bats for some reason. Unexplained reason. Alright, so what's your deal?
My best thing is throwing discs. I am really good. I like playing with Dan and Toddler. It's our favourite thing when we go camping on Shelmerston.
Good for you.
One time, Greg Clifferland came up the beach, all red-faced like an angry tomato. He pointed at a sign. It said, "No throwing games." He was yelling and shouting at us.
I don't know why. I just kind of enjoyed this little girl's voice acting. Maybe it's the fact that how bratty she feels, or just that, I don't know. Maybe it's just that British accent just heightens the experience. Oh.
He told me to give him my disc, but I wouldn't. I threw it high up into the air.
In the air. Sorry.
And it went bang into a massive bird. Then the bird fell into the sea.
I think you killed the bird, little girl.
I felt so awful. I never meant to hurt the bird. The whole thing was terrible.
Why does she look like something from a Charlie Brown or one of those really old school cartoons that you've seen in the newspaper back in the day?
Mr. Lifferlam was screaming. He waded into the sea, picked up that bird, and carried it back to the beach. He was crying and crying. I'm sorry, Mr. Lifferland.
Oh, that's quite sad.
Oh, Greg. Poor guy. Oh, and that poor bird. I guess that explains why he was always so prickly.
Yeah, okay, that explains a little bit more. Oh man. Yawning. That's never a good sign. That means I'm getting tired. Alright. Now, this one, we have to click on the table, and then find the disc. Ow. Right there. Awesome sauce.
I love these things! Reminds me of our walks on the beach.
Yeah, you seem to love your walks, you know. It's not that you're a canine companion and all that. Oh, yeah, right.
Woof! Okay, I've got his scent. It was quite faint, but I'm a very good dog. Let's go find him.
You are a good dog. You want a treat? Man, I'm getting through this game fast. Thank you, IGN Walkthrough. I don't know why this is so calming than it should be. Follow the barking, follow the yupping, but really barking. Man, this is where the art style really kicks in. Not bad. And I can't believe this is on the PS5. I feel like this should be on the PS4, but here we are. Alright, let's see what animation style they do for him. Alright, so, Greg, we got your backstory, so what do you sound like? Ah, you really were prickly.
Greg! Oh, hello!
Morris, what are you doing here? Oh, hello there, pup.
Hi, Greg.
You can talk now. Rather prefer my animals when they don't talk.
Yeah, Greg, we need to ask you, would you be interested in being the next island custodian? It's a very important job.
Oh, no, absolutely not. This is your mess, and you can sort it out.
My mess?
Prick?
Well, how do you mean?
You dug her up. I warned you, and I warned you when we were still alive that those archaeological digs were a bad idea. And now we know exactly how bad.
Well, now hold on, Greg. That's not how that works.
Oh, isn't it, talking dog? 3,000 years, no eruptions. You dig Aggie up, and then suddenly her grip on the island is weakening. Well, some coincidence that sounds like.
I didn't. I never did.
No. There's no way I'm doing that job. It's too much obligation, it's not my responsibility, and frankly, one lifetime of humans was plenty for me. Now, I'm going to stay right here until I can find David Abrams.
Fine. Thanks, Greg. See ya, I suppose.
Thanks, Greg.
I sensed some malice between Morris and Sparky against Greg. But Greg was a real prick. I'm not gonna lie, too. I don't think we want him to be the custodian. He seemed prickly. No wonder he's a prick. Yeah, I did not like Greg. Once you got to know him, he was nice, but he's kind of a wanker. Okay. Well, how's Greg? He's kind of a prick. Yeah. All right. Well,
It's not looking good, is it, old girl?
Don't worry, Morris. I hate it when you worry. It makes me nervous.
He's waiting for David Abrams. I guess I'm like him in that way. The most important person in my life wasn't technically a person, more like an island.
Yes, the island. This island. A whole island's worth of people and stories. Not like Greg at all. Everyone loves you.
Really? Well, loved me, perhaps, past tense.
No, they still do. And there's one more person who loves you we need to talk to. Our last prospect.
Oh,
I just know we're getting close now.
Hey, Sparky, how do you know all this stuff? I mean, you're just my dog,
true.
aren't you?
Well, nobody is just anything, Morris. I'm mostly the dog you raised, but I'm also kind of a messenger, a scout, part of something bigger. Aggie sent me to help guide you.
Aggie sent you?
No time to explain, Morris. We have to get to the last prospect.
Well, however it came to be, I'm glad I get to spend more time with you, old friend.
So am I, Morris. Now, off to see Samphire down at the harbour.
Ah, Sam. Yeah, lead the way, girl.
I guess she's leading the way. Okay, so Pete.
Ah, the harbour. I always loved watching the boats come in and out. Never did get around to expanding the fishing exhibit, did I? You remember coming down here with me?
I'd have liked it better if you'd have let me swim.
I love your confidence, Sparky. But you always thought yourself a bigger dog than you actually were.
Oh. Lots more boats than there used to be, though, aren't there?
Certainly are. Shelmerston got busy. Though this is busier than even I remember. Say, how long have we been doing this search?
Oh, I don't know, Morris. Once you're dead, time seems to be a bit less important.
Does it? Oh, I don't know. I suppose it seems a bit galling that time and everything else keeps moving even though I've stopped. Makes a man feel unimportant.
Oh, you're not unimportant, Morris. You're saving the island. And to do that, we better go find some people who remember Samphire.
Yes, Sam surely understands the feeling of watching everything change. Fishfolk live for, what, 200 years? That's no small amount of change.
Not volcano change, though, Morris. And that's what we need to avoid. Off we go!
Yeah, cheerio. Anyway. Oh, I keep forgetting that, anthropomorphic, people, in a sense. Alright, so Sanford. 1904 to 2010. My gosh, they were old. One of the Fishpeople. Sam was one of the first of their kind to fully integrate with the ways of the land, taking a position of responsibility as Shelmerston, harbor controller. Sam played an important part in helping the island to retain its own identity in the face of industrialization and tourism. They were an integral part of the Save the Marlowe movement. Well, I mean, being 8 decades old, yeah, I guess that would probably do it. Alright, well, let's meet this person. And hopefully they become the custodian. Probably not. I can't believe I actually put legit time in this. I'm actually genuinely surprised. I'm actually having fun. Okay, this is where the first memory is. Ah, there they are. Let's see the memory of this. Of Coral. That is interesting. Looks like something Adventure Time-ish.
It was the 6th summer after I spawned that I went to my first Aggie's Day ceremony. You know, Aggie, the dry cider who saved the world from cracking in two. We don't go on land until we're 6 years old. It's all swimming, wafting around. Standing up is hard at first, the weight distribution. Anyway, I went up dry side for the ceremony, and that was where I first met Sam.
His accent is pretty freaking awesome. A cast of unknown who are A-list performances everywhere.
It was so loud and hot out there, all that shell blowing. I was bored, and my body felt dry and heavy. I was too young, really. There were souvenir stalls selling bracelets with little stones of polished lava. I wanted one so bad, I would not shut up about it.
I bet you did not shut up about it.
Sam saw I was fed up. They took me up the beach, away to the dunes, and Sam gave me a little polished stone of my own to play with. Had a heart of gold, they did. It wasn't until years later that I found out it was a tiny replica of the one Aggie died on. We became good friends. Sam helped a lot. They were always on my side. My pod, we were quite traditional, didn't like us working with the dry-siders, but Sam talked me into going for the job as a diver on the new harbour. If it wasn't for them, I don't think I'd have tried. That stone was my lucky charm. I took it with me when I went for the interview, and I took it down with me when I went on my first dive. I had a pocket made specially in my tool belt. Sam took me under their fin, invited me out to the Camel, and let me stay with them and Blythe on the ferry if it was a late one. And there were plenty of late ones. Karaoke nights are still my favorites. Every time I feel that lucky stone in my pocket, I think of Sam.
Aw.
I remember all the fish folk coming up on the beach for Aggie's Day when I was a lad. Seems less of a big deal these days. I guess they still celebrate it, but, well, it's a lot more sedate. Back then, it was a huge event.
I imagine it was. Thank you for the history lesson. Alright, well, might as well find the artifact just to kind of like speed this up. It makes sense to not just unlock the memory, try to find the memento too. It just makes sense. Alright, so now, let's click on that. Then we have to click on the office. Ah, there it is. And once we click on the office, then we have to click on the coat rack. The coat rack. And once we do that, then we have to find the coat. And after that, that's it.
Oh, magic stones? I knew humans were superstitious, but I thought the fish folk would be a bit more savvy.
It's a living. Wait, what am I saying? Yeah, doesn't matter. Alright, next memory. Alright. Now, the next memory is on the Queen of Isles
Getting
book.
the scent of Grenkins again, Morris. I'll pop up to let you know when we're close to one.
You really like the Crickens. We don't have any time. We have to keep going. Okay, so now we have to find another boat. The Queen of Isles boat. Well, I figure we basically had to go for an easy joke. Why did the pirates not go to the movie? Because it was really too easy. Too easy, I know. Too easy. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I had to do that easy pun. Okay, now we have to zoom in. Ah, there's the memory. Ah, they're actual Tuki.
I first met Sam when I sailed the new ferry, the Queen of the Isles, into harbor. Of course, I'd heard of the fish folk, but I'd never met one. Sam was an amazing pilot, knew the waters better than any boatman. It was strange, steering a course for someone actually in the water, but we never went wrong with Sam to guide us in. Next time I was in Chelmerston, we went for a drink at the Camel. I'm more into bats than beer, but Sam was intriguing, and the atmosphere in there was great. Like a warm nest. Great band, too. Awesome sousaphone player. I think we got on because we were both a little bit on the outside of things.
Hey, that's Ogden! We already had his backstory. Ha! That's funny. He was technically the third person. Man. This has been going on for a
Sam
while.
invited me over for toast and hot chocolate. Honestly, hot chocolate doesn't do it for me. But the toast, that multi-seed bread. Sam made the best toast. I told Sam that next to a good cuttlefish bone, that it was my favorite snack.
You really are enamored by you really love those toasts. Huh. Toast to toast. Oh wait, what am I saying?
Stayed over. In the morning, we went for a walk along the beach. And just as the sun was rising, I took them flying on my back. We went up and looked down over the islands. Sam wasn't scared at all. They said it was like swimming through the air.
Are you and Sam,
It was on the next trip to Shelmerston. We just sighted land when Sam's head popped out of the water right beside my berth and passed me a fresh cuttlefish bone, carved especially for me.
Yeah, okay, you and Sam were in a relationship.
When
Got
we
it.
moved in together,
What?
it was the best day of my whole life. I put that cuttlefish bone on my bedside table within beak reach. I still look at it every day, every single day.
Okay, so Sam was a homosexual. I mean, or was Sam a female? I have no idea. But with the name was Sam, I think the homosexual route is pretty spot on. But their relationship, it was kind of sweet. It was sweet. Yeah, they were just two people who met literally at sea, and then we saw their date, and we saw them kind of like going on multiple dates, and then moving in together. Gotta admit, that one kind of caught me off guard, but it was actually it was sweet. I will give them that. Well done, writers.
I just remembered that time Blythe and I did a duet at the karaoke. Oh, I can't believe I agreed to it. Must have had a few too many. I never knew how Sam and Blythe met.
Wow, no judgment. Kind of surprised. Wait. He was their partner. Wait, so was Sam non-binary, or was he just? Were they? It just seemed like a homosexual relationship, just from what I'm getting. All right, well, there we go. Well, despite that, yeah, their relationship was actually it was sweet. Nothing wrong with that. Just saying. Okay, so now the next memento, as we're rushing through this, because, this disappears on the 21st, luckily I'll be able to finish it, and then I can focus on my friend Pedro. Okay. Okay, the cuttlefish bone. Come on, IGM, walk through, pull, so I can actually keep moving. Okay, so we have to look for the whale house. Ah, there it is. Okay, now we have to click on the ship controls, which we did.
Okay, we're in the right place. But now we need to slice and rotate this object to just the right spot to get the Grenken out.
Oh yeah, we're still doing that. Well, I'm not doing it right away. Okay, so now we have to go on. Yes, I know. Okay, left on the steering wheel. Ow. Well, I...
Hello, Grenkin. Good to see you. Morris, these spirits have been on Shelmerston for thousands of years, and they bring good luck. We should definitely keep finding them.
Yeah, because of trophies and also... I know, there are a lot of them, but I just want to focus on doing this. Alright, less of the steering wheel. Left of the steering wheel, huh? I think I found it. Oh, right, okay. There we go.
I used to love finding these on the beach.
Yep. Those two definitely were in love. Anyway. Okay, so now we have to go to... Man, we certainly learned a lot about Sam in that cutscene. Haha! I'm just saying. Okay, so now we need to find the Macy Louise. Where that is. Perseverance. So, probably over here. How much time have we done? 47 minutes. I think we can finish this pretty fast. So we can't go all the way to the left, but looks like we can go over here. Now, okay. Maybe the ship is all the way over there. There it is. Found him. Okay, oh, Winky. Wait, Winkle? Winkle Bob.
When I was a kid, I hated the annual Morlow Cull. I was kept away and found excuses not to be there. Then, age 10, my dad marched me down to the beach with other men and put a knife in my hand. It was the worst day of my life. I saw Morlows slit from jaw to belly, more blood than you could imagine. I didn't sleep for months after.
Wow, your dad traumatized you.
But you grow up, don't you? I never felt it right that we was killing Morlows, but what could I do about it? I was just a fisherman. One day I see Samp, the new harbour officer, handing out leaflets on the quayside. Stop that, Col. I went along to that first meeting at the campsite. Greg Litherland was one of the other organisers. It was beautiful. So much hope around that campfire. When I spoke about the pain of the Morlow, it really felt like the young uns were listening. Me, Sam and Greg held regular events to raise funds for badges and patches. I was proud to wear mine on me best Gansey.
Are they portraying this like... Okay. Are they kind of portraying this like... okay.
There was quite a rift between us and the old guard. They felt the ban was an attack on our ways. Sam and me took a load of the fishermen out for a beer, and Sam made them listen. They really respected Sam. We got most of them on our side that way. By 87, we finally felt like we had enough support to push for change. So the week before the Morlows showed up, we organised a mass dying on the beach. There were loads of us lying down on that sand, islanders, fishermen, fishfolk all together. And the press showed up, and the mainland TV, and for the first time in 500 years, we stopped that cull.
I guess they did stop that coral.
I'm so glad we don't do that cull anymore. I was proud of Sam and that lot when they finally made the old uns see sense. And, well, I did my part. Held a lot of those early meetings at the museum, we did.
You really are proud of that museum. Well, at least it hasn't cooled down. You know, with COVID and inflation and all that. I mean, this is past 2020, so... COVID. Glad that museum stayed open. Huh. Well, this was intriguing. Alright, so we have to click on the gale. The gale! I don't know why I'm putting emphasis on that. Alright, so we need to look inside the lockers. Okay, now we are looking for... Oh. Okay. Oh, save the world. Oh, sorry. I said save the Marlow. But I mean, that's kind of the whole stick, yeah?
Oh, I love Morlows. Such gentle creatures.
Huh, fish people. Interesting. That's a thing. Alright, so now we need to go to another area. Alright, the Perseverance, that's where we were before. Or that's where I keep passing. This is such a peaceful place. Look at this place. Intriguing. Alright, let's see what you're all about. Lance Dunstan. Alright, what's your story, bro?
By the time Sam started as the harbour controller in '79, the fishing industry in Shelmiston was on its arse. No way to compete with those factory trawlers from the mainland, was there? Couldn't moor those things anywhere near the island, even if we had them. Of course we were all smuggling, stands to reason, done it? There was no money. All those old fishing sheds on the quay, the ones the tourists like, were falling down. Old place looked, pardon me, like a tip. There was a lot of trouble at first. Sam trying to stick by the rules and catch us out any way they could, and us trying any which way to give her the runabout. Wasn't easy, mind you. She was smart, that Sam. You never knew when they were going to pop her head out of the water beside your tub. And to be fair to Sam, some of them smuggling boys were bad uns. Worse stuff than booze on some of them boats, and that's the truth. Probably no bad thing Sam put a stop to it. But in time, Sam started to see how things were, how we do things, and we came to an understanding of sorts. If Sam turned a blind eye to a bit of the decent stuff, the harmless stuff, then we'd report the worst of it. I mean, we all want to keep the seas safe, stands to reason. Plus, Sam was partial to a bottle or two of the sheep shank on occasion. Oh, yeah. Sam was sharp as a gutting knife. They made us hand over some of the, shall we say, dividends to fix up the quay. All them sheds and that. Make them into something we'd be proud of. Turn things around for Shelmiston, that did. Now we get more of those tourists since the big ferry started. And they love a day out on a boat. Ken takes them all out, he does. At the same time, Sam organised a kind of work-sharing thing with the fish folk. Got some of them to swim along with the fishing boats, help them locate the biggest shoals. Gave those big trawlers with all their fancy radar gear a run for their money. We'll never be big players in the fishing down here. But thanks to Sam, we hold our own. Bless him.
Interesting.
I reckon I still have a bottle or two of sheep shank stashed away at the museum. Don't suppose anyone will ever drink them now.
I bet not. Intriguing. Alright. Can't believe it's been another 55 minutes. Alright, let's try to do these memento. Hurry this up. At least get the fourth one done. And then we can get to the fifth. And then on the last part that we'll do for tonight, we'll just do 30 minutes into there, and then we'll finish out I Am Dead, and then get the verdict video. Hopefully. Okay, so now we need to go to the extra secret compartment. And then it's in a big box. So let's find the big box. There it is. Sorry. Ow. Ooh.
Ah, a different kind of spirit to the ones we've been looking for.
Yeah, Sparky knows what it's about. Alright, the last memory and last memento, then we are done with, well, Sam. Or Champ. Is it Champ or Sam? Well, anyway, we'll be back after these commercials, and then we'll kind of conclude this with the last video. Alright, well, let's do this.